The snap, they're going to give it to Irvin. Irvin untouched up the middle for a touchdown. Drew Irvin, third rushing touchdown of the game. Benner takes the snap. He's looking to pass at the design quarterback run. He keeps now out across the 20 to the 15 to the 10 to the 5, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Cole Benner. They give it up to Smith, and there's a fumble. Ball's on the ground. Otterbein has it. Austin Jones recovers.
Live from the studios of 33 College View, it's time for the Tim Doup Coaches Show on 97.5 WOBN. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Westerville Automotive, Ohio Health, Roush Honda, and BMI Federal Credit Union. Now, along with head football coach Tim Doup, here's your host, David Kender.
Miles to the right of Benner and the shotgun. Bruner, the receiver, to the far side. Benner again looking to pass, unloads for Lowe, deep down the field. Lowe goes up for it, makes a spectacular catch. He's to the 10, to the 5, and he's in for a touchdown. His third receiving touchdown of the ball game. A great pass from Benner, and he takes it in for a 50-yard passing touchdown. Akron's loss is Otterbein's gain. That was the call on WOBN this past Saturday as Julian Lowe got his third touchdown of the game, this one from Cole Benner out of the Wildcat, as the Cardinals moved to 2-1 overall by defeating Wilmington on homecoming for the 9th consecutive time, winning 31-9. The win also moves Otterbein to 2-0 in league play. So when I address Coach Doup here in a little bit, we'll be talking with the head coach of the first place team in the OAC standings, Coach Doup, and senior wide receiver and punt returner Connor Lucas, our guests in studio today. So, Coach, do you like the ring of that first place in the OAC?
Well, I mean, I tell our guys every week is important, and in the last 2 weeks, starting the OAC, you've got to take one at a time, and this week, same thing. But, yeah, I mean, being 2-0 right now, we're got a lot of work to do, but it's where you need to be if you want to have a chance at the end.
Coach, let's dive right into that victory over Wilmington, 31-9. Let's start with Kevin Green. Threw for almost 200 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, also rushed for another one. And here's your trivia question for the day. If you know the last time an Otterbein quarterback gained over 100 yards rushing in a game like Kevin did Saturday.
Hey, maybe Austin? Was it Sloss?
Earlier than that.
Jack.
That was Jack Rafferty.
I was going to say, was it Jack?
2007. Also versus Wilmington. Coach, you had to be really pleased with the way Kevin played.
Yeah, I mean, we went in with a pretty simple game plan. Now, with that being said, he did a great job. But, I mean, after me watching the offensive part of the film, we also missed some things. So, but, you have a quarterback that throws for almost 200, rushes for 100. That's a great day. And, I think he's just going to continue to get better and better. At reading and doing things and what we need to do. So, technically it was only his third start, in his career here. So, we're expecting for him to get better and better every week.
Connor, you get to work with Kevin every day in practice and then, of course, Saturday on game day. How have you seen his progression from week 1 against Buffalo State till now?
Well, I think Coach Doup referenced it earlier in the year. Kevin has the ability to what he can't make up with his physical attributes he makes up with his mind. So Kevin is one of the more intelligent players that we have on our football team. So there are a lot of things that he can check to. He's not afraid to check to things that he sees, what the defense is giving him. And that's something that's kind of developed after week 1. We kind of went back to the drawing board for a couple of things. And Kevin really took to that. And in the last 2 games, I think it showed.
Being a wide receiver, you also work very closely, of course, with Julian Lowe, who caught 3 touchdowns in the ball game. Coming into the season, you had to know what a great athlete he was, but did you know he would be that good?
I actually did, because Julian and I played against each other in high school. So Julian and I have known each other probably since I was about 16 years old, him being the same age. And I knew that he was special. I know he's talented. I knew that coming in, and kind of alerted the coaches on that of what they didn't know. And I think he complements us well. He gives us a different dynamic. He has the size, the speed, the hands. He's a very, very talented individual. So he adds a whole dynamic to our offense that, we might not have had before, but it also opens up the offense for everybody else as well.
Coach, Cardinals have won back-to-back games now in which they've been outgained in total yardage, yet they come on top in the scoreboard. How do you explain a statistical anomaly like that?
Well, against especially this past week, we played really well defensively. Clear up through the third quarter. I mean, I know we gave up a couple long throws. I mean, the first play of the game, poor Jordan slips, falls down, the kid's wide open. And then later on, they threw a couple up because we were shorter for some, 40, 50-yard passes. But other than that, we shut the run completely down. And in the fourth quarter, I mean, we pulled our starters. I mean, and we wanted the other guys to get a chance to come in and play some. And I think Coach Moore, when he did the statistics, they gained 190 yards in the fourth quarter. We can't let that happen. But, we think it was good for our younger guys to get in there and play also. So, I mean, it was 31-9, fourth quarter. I felt pretty comfortable. Let's pull some guys. But, it's just the way it is. I look at the score. I don't look at the stats. I mean, stats are great, but did you win or lose? And I think it comes down to that. So I'm not a big stat guy. I never have been. We might be dead last in offense or defense in the conference. I don't even look at it. What I do look at is, how productive are we and what's the scoreboard show.
Connor, the play we heard at the beginning of the show was another Wildcat package. Cole Benner at quarterback. This was the first time we saw him throw out of that formation. Second pass he throws completes the 50-yarder for the touchdown. So we know he can run. We know he can pass out of that formation. What makes it such a difficult package to defend?
Well, Cole adds a completely different dimension to that offense because he's such a great athlete. He's one of the better athletes on any field, on any game. So it makes a defensive coordinator have to prepare that much more. And it benefits us because now with Cole back there, nothing against Kevin, but it adds a whole nother athlete to the offense, which having, 5 guys out there that can run, sub-4, 640s with great hands and great speed, then it makes it very difficult to defend.
Anytime Otterbein ran slant routes Saturday in the victory over Wilmington, the Quakers had some trouble defending it. Up in the press box, we thought it would be a matter of time before Wilmington would figure it out, but they really didn't figure it out the entire game. Why are you guys having so much success with the slant routes?
Well, Coach D'Amico did a great job. In the previous year, we had run some switch combinations, and we had seen that Wilmington was going to change their coverage. So we actually had a check of our own to where if they were giving us what Kevin saw or what Coach D'Amico was seeing on the field, if they were giving us that option, we were going to go ahead and take it. And so we ran a lot of the switch combination, but we also had a play off of the play. So it worked out really well. And again, kudos to Coach D'Amico and Kevin for realizing that and being able to audible.
Coach, defensively, the Cards almost put up a shutout on the board. They gave up a late touchdown in the fourth quarter to Austin Jarbo. Defense, again, shows for the second straight week that they'll bend, but they're not going to break.
Yeah, I mean, the part, the 2 points, we gave them 2 points on the snap on the punt. And then the other, we buckled. That first drive is what I think set the tone for us defensively. We give up a bomb right away. And then they go for it on fourth down, I think, around the 15, 20-yard line. We get a stop there, and then from there out, I think that just set the tone for our defense. And I thought, they played well. We gave up a late one, and, they called timeout, and they tried to get another one on us. But, we sniffed that out and then did a good job. But, the bottom line is, no points. You can end up getting driven on all the way down to the 20. Now, obviously, I don't want to get driven on. People sometimes hate that statement, bend but don't break. But as a coach, you feel more comfortable if you're not bending that much. I don't want to bend that much. But our guys, they did a great job stepping up once they got in the red zone and holding them out.
14 tackle for losses in this game, and after only getting a sack apiece in the first 2 games, Otterbein gets 4 in Saturday's victory. You had to be pleased with the way the front 7 was getting pressure on Creda and Jarbo.
Yeah, we did a couple of different things. We had some new wrinkles that nobody had seen, and I thought our kids executed them very well. And it's no secret that defensively, when you're going after people, if you can get hit home, you get quarterbacks to get nervous. And, we had a couple different things that we did that they hadn't seen before, and they had trouble with it.
Let's take a look at special teams. You were without Bryson Ray at both tight end and punter, so you go with Joe Sanfilippo, who gets his first start, and all he does is average 44 yards a kick. I think it's safe to say we have a pretty good backup punter, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, he played outstanding. For coming in his first real, true starter as a punter and what we needed him to do. I mean, he did an outstanding job, and it's about field position. It really is, and with Connor, Connor made a statement to me about, I was tired of seeing where we were in the punt return in the conference. And, he did a great job. We averaged over 11 yards a return. And, that's like Coach Freese says, that's a first down. And if we can average a first down every time on punt return, we're doing a good job. So Connor, with Connor back there, he did a great job getting some yards. And, that just helps. That just helps. That's 10 more yards offense doesn't have to worry about. And so I thought he did a good job there. And obviously Flip did an outstanding job punting.
Not only on Connor's returns, but the punt block team was in the backfield almost every time on every one of Credit's punts. And it's only a matter of time before you thought they were going to block one, but they got pressure every time.
Well, we actually got to the last one. If Logan puts his other hand up, it's completely blocked, but he just, put his right hand out real quick and got a piece of it. So, I think the way we change our looks and some of the things we do, hopefully we can scan one up and get one soon.
Cardinals 31-9 winners at homecoming over Wilmington. They advanced to 2-1 on the season. When we come back, the Cardinals looking to bring the Rhine River Cup back to Westerville as they battle with winless Heidelberg this Saturday. We'll preview the Student Princes when we come back with Coach and Connor. It's the Tim Doup Coaches Show on 97.5 WOBN.
Fewer than 5 out of 100 people give blood. Ever wonder why they do it?
It's the one thing that we can do that we can always afford to do, and hey, you get a snack afterwards. So
snacks are great. I had never knew my blood type, and I found out in doing this that I'm O negative. So there's that added pressure knowing that everyone can use my blood at any time, and so I feel like it's my responsibility.
It's a little extra bragging power too, knowing that you're a universal giver.
Yeah, I'm pretty special.
Call 1-800-RED-CROSS or visit redcrossblood.org to make an appointment today.
Hi, I'm Cole Benner, senior wide receiver, and you're listening to the Tim Doup Coaches Show on 97.5 WOBN. Missed anything from today's show? You can listen to every episode on WOBN's YouTube page.
On the Cardinal Sports Wrap, you won't hear any of this or this. Nope, just two dudes talking about grown men wearing tights throwing around balls. Manly things.
That broadcast school has really paid off.
The Cardinal Sports Wrap, playing none of America's best music. Catch it Mondays 5 to 7, only on 97.5 WOBN. Hey Cardinal fans, Otterbein Athletics on the Radio is brought to you in part by Westerville Automotive. Serving the Westerville area for 20 years, they have 2 locations on Westerville Road and in the Uptown area, just seconds away from Otterbein on Main Street. They're on the web at westervilleautomotive.com. You can follow them on Facebook at Westerville Automotive Uptown or call them at 614-890-6700.
I used to be one of those irresponsible guys, always goofing off and acting like a real jerk. Girls wouldn't give me the time of day. Hey, Julie, do you have the time?
shut up.
Then, 30 days before my 18th birthday, I went down to my local post office and registered with Selective Service overnight.
I became aware of the man I had suddenly become, eligible for federal student loans, government jobs, and job training, responsible and mature. Hi, Julie. Dinner tonight?
I'd love to, Brad.
So register with Selective Service. It's what a man's got to do.
Good afternoon, I'm Boston Greg with a look at your Wednesday weather report. 66 degrees in Westerville currently, not a chance of precipitation for the rest of the day. Partly cloudy, and tonight will drop into the high 50s. Now back to Tim Doup Coaches Show on 97.5 WOBN.
We welcome you back to the Week 4 edition of the Tim Doup Coaches Show. I'm David Kinder with with Connor Lucas, senior wide receiver, and head football coach Tim Doup in studio. And this Saturday, Otterbein will travel to Tiffin and look to bring the Rhine River Cup back to Westerville for the first time since 2010. The Student Princes off to a rough start, losing their first 3 games of the season, but I'm sure Coach Doup will be the first to tell you this is not your average 0-3 football team.
No, they're probably the best 0-3 football team in the country, to be quite honest. They lost to Cortland on a last-second bomb, Hail Mary, kid catches it, and Cortland is undefeated right now. With 3 minutes to go, they're playing John Carroll. John Carroll scores late to win that one, and then last week against Ohio Northern, Ohio Northern had to score 24 straight unanswered, so they had to lead in that game too. So very, very good football team. They're not your typical 0-3. I would literally say they're the best 0-3 team in the country.
Connor, this will be your last game playing in the Rhine River Rivalry. You've never been able to hold the cup. What would it mean to bring it back to Westerville as a senior?
Well, I do know that Coach Doup and I share that, him as a head coach and me coming in at the same exact year that he became. So, it would definitely be special considering we do have a little bit of a chip on our shoulder for not being able to defeat Heidelberg. So it would definitely be special finally getting that cup. As it's eluded us for the last 3 years. So we're looking forward to the challenge.
For those who aren't aware, the Rhine River Cup given to the winner of the Otterbein Heidelberg game annually to commemorate the two's 1992 meeting in Germany, the first American college football game played in Europe. Coach, obviously not Otterbein's biggest rival, but you're still playing for a trophy and still a meaningful game in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it does mean something. That cup has not been in Westerville for a while, and our guys, I've already started talking. They started talking about it right after the Wilmington game, to be honest. So, as a coach, that makes me feel good that they switched gears very quickly and understood what this week's about. And it is important because you are playing for something. That cup needs to be hopefully brought back to Westerville.
And hopefully sitting in your office, is that where it's going to reside?
Oh, no, I'll put it in the case. I won't put that thing in my office, but it will be out where everybody can see it.
I'm sure you've gotten a chance to scout Heidelberg now and look back at their loss Saturday to ONU, in which the Polar Bears scored 24 answered in the second half. What went wrong for the Student Princes in the second half?
It's just interesting. Here's my scenario of what's going on with Heidelberg right now. It's sort of like our 2011 team. We went 3-7, but yet if you look in the fourth quarter, we were either tied or winning all those games that we lost, except for obviously Mount. And it's just unfortunate. It seems like something will go wrong, or they'll put the ball on the ground, or something's going to happen. But they've been in every game, and the biggest thing is I don't think it's a confidence thing. I mean, because they are very, very good. I just think they're getting some bad, bounces, to be honest, which is causing them, unfortunately, just to give up the lead or, something going wrong because, like I said, they're a very good team.
Offensively, we know the Student Princes look a lot different than last year. They lost a pair of once-in-a-lifetime athletes, an All-American running back Cartel Brooks and receiver Dante Dye, who's currently on the practice squad with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So what players this year should we look out for Heidelberg?
Well, I mean, their quarterback Sandwich is very, very good. He's been a backup for all those years behind Meese. He sat there. He's very mobile. He likes to run. And, he knows the offense and he can throw. Lacey in the backfield, who Kim and Cartel shared a lot. I mean, they're all a lot alike. I mean, very elusive, very quick, very good. And then the receivers are young, but they're very, very good. I mean, they've got some high-quality receivers, that can still run. They're fast. They're athletic. And then, up front, they've got a very, very good offensive line, big, strong. Dam Schroeder is, been first team all-conference, I think, the last 2 years. He's moved over to left tackle from center. I mean, I would say he's probably one of the best in the conference, if not the best. So they got a couple other starters back. So, offensively, they're very talented and big and strong. So, we got our work cut out.
How can we expect to see Coach Mike Hallett's team line up on the offensive side of the ball?
Very good question. They do it. They go 4 wide. They'll go Navy, which is 1 tight end, 3 wide. We've seen him go double tight. with a wing and 2 wide. So, he likes to stick with those 3 personnel groups. So, hopefully it's nothing we haven't seen before. It's just a matter of, we need to stop the run.
We talked about in the last segment the pressure Otterbein was able to get on the quarterbacks of Wilmington. The Heidelberg line's given up 13 sacks through 3 games. Does that lead to you to think defense will have some success getting to the quarterback?
Well, I mean, you would hope, but the defenses they played are outstanding. I mean, they've played 3 great defenses that I think match them a little bit with big and strong and can run. And us, we're not the biggest, so we're trying to be a little bit athletic and move and do some things. So hopefully that stuff will cause them some problems.
Connor, how can we expect to see the Student Princes line up on the defensive side of the football?
Well, generally, Heidelberg their front 7's pretty big. They're very physical. I know that in the past that they've knocked some guys around, especially on the offensive side. I think on the in their DBs, they're fairly young, but they're very athletic. So we have to be aware of where they are, especially the safeties at all times. They're not afraid to go cover one, sort of like Wilmington did. So we'll have some things for that, just like we did against Wilmington. So we're looking forward to the challenge. Again, hopefully we can get Bryson Ray back, add another dimension to our offense, having a bruiser like that to help with the front 7. We'll see, but I think it's going to be a challenge. Again, like Coach Doup said, 0-3 is not something that describes this team. We're coming into it looking at this team should be 3-0, so that's how we're looking at it as a team.
Can we expect to see the wide receivers try to exploit the middle of the field again with the slant passes?
It really just depends on what they give us. Again, Kevin has enough freedom to change the play and see and go with what he sees fit. And if the middle is open, we might exploit it. At the same time, if we're running the ball well or we're short passing game is working for us, we might try and hit it up the sidelines. Who knows? But like I said, Kevin becoming more and more comfortable in the pocket. We could go outside the tackles or towards the sidelines. We don't know.
Coach Connor just talked about a little bit ago with Bryson Ray. A lot of injuries to this Cardinal team in the early goings. What's the injury report on Ray and some of the other guys that were sidelined last week?
Well, Ray, Bryson, it'll be a game time decision. We'll see if he can get through practice this week. Right now it's just probably, like I said, it's going to be game time. I don't know right now. Case Troyer didn't play at right tackle. Jake came in and did a good job. So we don't know, how that'll be. But we're banged up, we're nicked up. We just got to see, who we get back and how healthy we are by the end of the week. Because right now I have no idea.
Cardinals and Student Princes will kick off at 1:30 from Tiffin. You can hear the game live right here on 97.5 WOBN. I'll have the play-by-play, and our pregame coverage starts with the Roush Honda pregame show starting at 1 o'clock. When we come back from the break, we'll talk with Coach and Connor about the NFL season and who they like so far. You're listening to the Tim Doup Coaches Show on 97.5 WOBN.
Football is a sport that unites fans, players, and coaches alike in a spirit of competition and camaraderie. Football season has come to our area, and while you're watching a game with friends or sharing in the excitement with family, be sure to celebrate responsibly. Never pick up the keys and drive if you've had too much to drink. And if you're 21, drinking alcohol is against the law. Remember, alcohol is different. Let's all work together to keep our roads and community safe and have a winning season.
Catch the Cardinals Sports Wrap with David Kinder and Elijah Gonzalez every Monday from 5 to 7. It's America's best sports talk radio show. Even Jim Harbaugh says so.
Yeah, I would agree. Can't disagree with that.
Every Monday from 5 to 7, only on WOBN 97.5.
Would your business survive a disaster? Nearly 2/3 of businesses aren't prepared for an emergency, and 40% of businesses that experience a disaster never recover. Make an emergency plan now, before it's too late. For a free online tool that helps you develop an emergency plan to keep your business up and running should disaster strike, visit ready.gov/business. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the American Red Cross, and the Ad Council.
Can't make it to one of the football games this year? Well, WOBN has you covered with live broadcast of all 10 football games this year, home and away. Join us 30 minutes before kickoff for pregame and stay with us long after the final whistle for analysis and updates on what else happened in college football. It's all right here on 97.5 WOBN and streaming live anywhere in the world on WOBN.net. Welcome back to week 4 of the Tim Doup Coaches Show on 97.5 WOBN. I'm David Kinder along with wide receiver Connor Lucas and head football coach Tim Doup. In case you missed anything from this week's show, remember you can listen to the show in its entirety on WOBN's YouTube page, and you can listen to every show from this year. It's time now for the part of the show where we talk about something else going on in football, not about Otterbein athletics. So we'll dive in. The National Football League wrapped up week 3 on Monday, so we'll get Connor and Coach's thoughts on the start of the professional season. Still 6 teams undefeated after week 3. Not as bad as the OAC, where after week 2 there were still only 2 undefeated teams. We got the Packers, Cardinals, Panthers, Broncos, Bengals, and Patriots still undefeated. Out of those 3, who's the most surprising to you, Coach?
Oh, who's surprising
Who's
that
the
they're
most
undefeated?
surprising that they're still undefeated?
I would say the Panthers. I mean, I don't think anybody expected the Carolina to be undefeated right now. So to me, I think it definitely would be the Panthers.
What about you, Connor?
Personally, even though I am a Bengals fan, sometimes I think Andy Dalton's an accident waiting to happen. So I'm a little bit surprised that they're 3-0, but kind of excited. I think Coach Doup said the Panthers. I would agree with that. They play in a weak division, at least historically, but Cam's a heck of an athlete, so he kind of makes the Panthers go.
That's spoken like a true Ohio sports fan. Undefeated, but still pessimistic about it. Obviously, everyone's number 1 and number 2 have to be the Packers and Patriots, I would say, through the first 3 weeks of the season. Coach, your thoughts on the number 1 team in the league?
I like the Packers. I've always, I was a Favre fan. I just always have been. Like the way he plays the game, and now Aaron Rodgers is in there and doing a great job. So I'll be honest, my bucket list someday would be go to Lambeau and watch a football game, just because of the history and everything else. And I'd love to go there, sitting when it's freezing cold, and just see the atmosphere and be part of it. But I like Green Bay. I mean, I'll always root for Green Bay.
Connor, you said that you were a Bengals fan and that you're more of a college guy. Head-to-head, Packers and Patriots go at it, though. Who you taking?
So you're asking me if I would take Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly.
So I don't know.
Would you rather have the Ferrari or the Lamborghini?
That is a tough question.
How much air's in the footballs?
It does. That depends a little bit. It depends what you do for Gronk. I mean, Gronk is another dimension that the Patriots have that just about nobody else has. So I would say, unfortunately, I would have to go with the Patriots on that one.
Coach, he brought it up, so I'll mention it. Now that you're on the defensive side of the ball, how do you try to game plan for a guy like Gronk? How do you try to slow him down?
Wow. Well, it's a mismatch most of the time when you put a linebacker on him, and then if you waste a DB, then now there's a mismatch somewhere else. So, it's tough. You're darned if you do and darned if you don't, because if you bracket him, and put 2 guys, one on top, one on bottom, or one underneath, somebody's probably else is going to be open. So it causes you problems, only not when he's getting the ball, as even just when he's running his routes because of things. But he's tough to defend. He's so big, he can position his body, he runs well. So, I mean, he poses a big-time problem. Just like Jason Witten does for Dallas. I mean, he can do some things too, but Gronk is younger and, seems to have a lot more fun, I think. When you watch some of the things he does and stuff like that, he plays the game, I think, the way it should be. I mean, just because he's always screwing around and, he'd be a great guy to hang out with, I think, for a while. But
you hear that, Connor? Coach Doup loves it when his players screw around. That's what he's saying.
I don't mean it like that. I just meant, when you can tell when he's out in public, he likes to have a good time. But he's such a good athlete. He poses a problem all the time.
Connor, you said in the break that you don't really follow teams as much, but you follow individual players. Who are some of your favorite players out there?
Well, I mean, you'll find that some of these guys have something in common with me, but I think Darren Sproles scored, twice on Saturday, and he's electric, but he's a small guy. I think he's about 5'6", about 170 pounds, so not much bigger than me. I like Danny Woodhead and Giovanni Bernard. So, I'm partial to guys that are, similar stature, height, weight as myself. So, but, they change the game with the things that they do for their teams. And just like I like to think that I can change the game on punt return or coming out of the slot, having some sort of impact on the game.
Danny Woodhead, too, a guy that played less than Division I football.
That's right.
Got his start in
right.
D2 ball. Well, should be an exciting NFL season. Coach Connor, thanks for joining us in studio. Best of luck to you guys on Saturday up in Tiffin.
Thank you.
This has been the Week 4 edition of the Tim Doup Coaches Show. Otterbein and Heidelberg, they're going to kick off at 1:30. Hear the kickoff right here on 97.5. WOBN, our pregame coverage will start at 1 o'clock with the Roush Honda pregame show for Coach Doup and senior wide receiver Connor Lucas. I'm David Kinder on the Tim Doup Coaches Show saying so long till next time.